Don't mute me, mother. Don't mute me, mother. I'm over here ranting.
Silencing black voices.
The black voices from the east side.
Mm-hmm. See, Malcolm warned us about this.
By any means necessary.
I wonder how long he's gonna take this.
Why do I have to hear this music? That's what I want to know.
I'm hearing the music too.
It's so loud.
It's so generic.
Like it's actually I need to like turn down my mic sensitivity. It's so loud.
All right, we got 7-5, 4.
Oh, wait, we got that. Okay, all right. We in this bitch. We're live. I feel good, and I'm repeating myself. So, Candy, take me off a echo, please.
I don't got you on echo.
No, it's not you. It's me.
Oh.
I'm just fucking with you. I just wanted to make you feel bad about last time.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. None of that bullshit.
We gonna create posts, share the post real fast, and then there we go. Boom, there it is. With that, man, how y'all feeling today? How y'all gentlemen doing today?
Happy New Year.
Happy fucking New Year, man. It's not like we didn't talk to each other like yesterday.
That's true.
I mean, y'all two
did. But one.
I feel like and then also I did send that link. But with that, man, let's start off this the right way. I'm gonna start this month with nothing but the love and compassion that we deserve this far. Because this is season 2. Instead of separating it by a couple of episodes, this is season motherfucking 2. So as of this moment, you heard that last curse word. To honor the person that we're going to be talking about today, your boy History is going to do one thing, and I'm going to try to do it right. I'm going to try to go this whole episode without cussing.
I don't know
history
if I can do
thing.
that.
I'm gonna cuss.
I'm going to try to go this whole episode not cussing.
That is exclusive for history, not for the rest of
For
us.
Sinbad. Let's do it for Sinbad.
We're doing it for
I'll
Sinbad.
try. I'll try.
Hold up. You saw Sinbad on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and he cursed in that TV show. So,
bro, if he cussed at that dog, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that, because you know I'm a wild out. I'm gonna just let it go.
and it was hilarious.
I will
share the clip of him from Always Sunny with y'all a little later. I feel like doing it now, but it is hilarious.
I am gonna let loose everything. So with that, I'm gonna post a link right now. It is up right now. It's the Journey Forward .life / is for Sinbad right now. It is actually raising money for him because he's just recovering off a stroke. He's had a stroke about 2 years, and he's just now finally learning how to walk again. So this is a big thing. But they put up this link to actually raise some money for him because of the fact that honestly the bills have been like astronomical for him. But it's not the medical bills they need to really get the money for. It's really the mental health aspect of it. So they've really been trying to get the money to get him the actual like help and support that he actually needs as well. So let's do this donation. If you drop some bits or anything like that, don't do it here. Do it on the actual Journey Forward like link right over there. So I dropped the link in all the websites. That's 6 sites. So I hope that we get to enjoy this. But Jamel said that he cussed in that, so I think that I'm going to take liberty and
not the movie. Not this.
I knew you couldn't do it. I knew you couldn't go for nothing. No 2 hours.
Right.
Just keeping it clean. You ain't got it in you, do you now, History Williams?
I barely keep it clean when I'm at work, bro. Like sometimes I'll be in the middle classes and I'll just be like, yeah, you know this is some bullshit, right? Your dog hate this shit. Stop doing that shit.
You got to tell them conservative A-word people what's up, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to jar them with a little colorful language.
Oh, man.
Remind them that the world is different than their shades of gray that they're used to.
Man.
Exactly.
So
I ain't your whipping boy.
yeah, it is definitely that, man. Oh, speaking of whipping boy, we're gonna get into that a little bit later. And
Yes, we are.
we are gonna get into whipping boy a little bit later. JT the voice actually got a little, and Candy got a little sample of the question yesterday. So question's gonna be to you, Jamel. Hopefully you got to actually listen to the video. But we're gonna go from there. With that, I'm gonna do my introduction, but I gotta ask a serious question, and this is not a part of I said what I said. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, people who conform to gender norms, and people who say, you know what, man, I ain't about that life. My name is History Williams. I am your host today and your podcaster today. If you are looking at the person over here, he'll be on the actual right side of the screen for me. That man over there is a fantastic person. He is not only a production person, he is an entertainer himself. He is a pandemic
That's all
memer.
lies. No.
He's a pandemic memer, and also on top of that, he is definitely one of the executives for the local movie theater out there in Washington State. With that, give a round of applause for the homie Jose Candido.
Golf clap, everybody. Golf clap.
Yeah, I got the clap.
Why you gotta lie like that, man? You're making me sound all professional and shit.
Bro,
Like,
I
I work in a movie theater. I am a lead projectionist.
Yeah. So here's the thing. He's being so modest. So Jose helped plan a couple of film festivals as well. He's helped do help with some of the marketing for his actual theater as well. He's being so fucking he's being so modest. So with that, I would say kudos to you. Bravo for taking care of your local theater, man. Big shout outs to that. Hey, and Candy, you know how much I really don't like the theater.
Oh,
So
I know. You trying to take me out of business over here.
No, I'm not.
Only.
All right.
You can't take your family out to a movie theater once in a while and enjoy the experience.
Not when I got a 55-inch TV and nice subwoofer and soundbar at home. we can enjoy that same movie and have popcorn. Grab that popcorn box off of the top of the refrigerator and hit that bug in the microwave.
Save that energy bill as we get the home theater experience.
And when people talk too much, guess what? I can hit closed caption.
Or you can hit them because it's your house.
Exactly. Now, you know these two gentlemen already. They have been part of this actual family. So these are the original voices and the Eastsiders of the actual podcast. As you can tell, I'm the historian of the podcast. We got the actual voice. This young gentleman down here below, Jonathan JT, the voice Thompson. Big shout outs to the voice actor of the group. Big shout outs to him. And also, we have this other young gentleman, man. He is our movie reviewer of the actual podcast. He is also the producer of the Eastside Reviews and also the watch alongs for WWE as well and AEW pay-per-views. Give a big shout outs to this man, Jamel Watson. All right, man. So,
I've seen less extra in a Sinbad movie.
So, quick question, man, and take as long as you need. I gotta ask you a question, man, and it's Jamel's fault this question came up. As y'all know, we had to do a changeover. And it's not intentionally your fault. It's something I've always gotten. So it's not you. All right. But we did a changeover from Podvine to Anchor. Not knowing that Podvine was not producing and distributing our actual podcast. So I had the pleasure of going back and listening to a lot of our old podcasts back there. So it was a pleasure, and it was a trial and error. And at the very end of the year episode, I did say that, man, like it was some frustrating times, it was some happy times. I don't regret doing this podcast with y'all, man. It's been fun. It's been fun and good, and it's definitely been a learning experience. I appreciate you guys. But one of the things that been constantly coming up, Jamel would be like, dog, no, there was the X-Men one. Would you want, what X-Men character would you want? And I said Wolverine, because he said the rule was no Wolverine, but I said Wolverine, and before I went to Jamel stopped me, and I went to go explain a little bit more on it. And it's not Black Air Force energy has entered the, bruh, no, you got to be Black Air Force sensitive. That's the word here. Black Air Force sensitive. So that's the correct terminology.
Black Air Force energy sounds like you about to rob whoever in the chat with you.
In the Black Force.
Black Air Force sensitive. But and there was another time where we I did go a little bit of a dialogue tangent, I guess you would say. And Jamel stopped me and said, bro, you go far left. Now, and then you try to come and like lose track of the conversation. So I'm gonna tell you mine first, but I'm gonna ask you yours. And it's not New Year's run all them opinions, because it's not anything like critiquing at anybody, but I want to actually hear from you guys if you have something like this that you plan on doing this year. So I've always felt when I talk or if I give my opinion, I have to tell a story. And I also feel like I have to tell a story to be able to actually explain that not only do I understand what your question is, but also on top of that, like, so you can understand why my perspective comes from. So I like to give you a small mini TV series sometimes when my that's the best way I can explain it. And I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on that, being able to actually say not to be insecure about it. But I'm going to actually double down on my fucking like behavior. So I would say for now on that I'm not going to be on my personal like aspect offended by it or like feel a specific way about it, because one of the worst like no's that I received was from a particular hearing someone's story or their why speaks to their perspective. That's what he said. I was trying to join a fraternity, and we did this interview process. And when I went to go try to join the fraternity, it was a historical Black fraternity. And they said, man, you just talk too much. That's one of the reasons why we're not accepting you. I was like, oh, well, you asked me a question. I want to answer this damn question. So, and I've always been insecure about it. But at the same token, I felt like I need to be able to explain myself and also be able to have you be able to have some clarity for it. So I'm doubling down, and I'm taking this year to double down on it. But I am going to work on my arms, my fillers, and all the rest of that type of stuff. That's my thing today. Outside of like professional stuff, but actually public speaking, I think that helping with getting rid of the fillers will definitely make the experience a little bit better and make it feel more articulate or clear, I guess, for a person to be able to understand. So
I have some
that is my
advice
part.
for that, if you like.
Gotcha.
Instead of saying just take a deep breath. Just breathe.
I would try my best. I'll definitely work on it.
Because instead of saying you just got a little time to get a little extra energy, and then you come back out with a nice full breath, and then you can say whatever long-winded nonsense you got to say in just one breath, and then whatever you got to say, you can get it all out there without actually giving anybody any space to cut you off.
Yeah.
But because you took that nice deep breath, you could think about it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna work on that.
Let's all just take a deep breath right now. Deeper.
I can't. The lung capacity isn't there.
Man, you forget that man. Candy got a smoker's lung, dog. What you?
Just one.
So, yeah, I just want one lung. Yeah,
the other one ain't black. just the right one.
The other one collapsed a long time ago. So
the other one doesn't smoke. That's what I got out.
Yeah. But I really want to clarify. I really want to state this. Like, this is not a shot at like anybody else at all. It's just it's a part that I have to work on because I felt like I was insecure about it. So I think that I usually feel like I'm the dumbest person in the room when I talk sometimes because I could tell that like I can read that sometimes, and it's been a tough thing for me. So I'm just learning that like I just be confident in myself and not hate my voice when I talk over air and stuff like that. So I'm going to double down on it, and I think that Jamel is now going to be my friend who is Ti on one of the worst movies for the MCU, Ant-Man. You just gotta Ti Jamel's gonna be that person that says you just gotta let it play out. You just gotta let it play out so you be able to understand the story. So I think that JT is gonna do that. I think that Katie do that. So I'm making sure that I tell my it should have been four, my three friends right now that hey, this is the thing that I'm working on. So I want to ask you, and I'm gonna go counterclockwise. JT, what's the thing that you're gonna work on this year?
The thing that I'm going to work on is getting more corporate clients for my voiceover job. Yes. That's what.
Okay. All right. And then Jamel, what about you, sir?
Saving money.
Saving money? Okay.
How much money you trying to save?
Some.
Quantify some. Get you a savings goal. I want 5 stacks in the bank by the end of the year.
Some.
Oh.
Some is $30, my nig. Like
you got more than 30.
75.
I got 25 in my savings right now.
I'm just trying to save me some money. Period. I want to come into next year with at least $4,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
What's wrong with 5?
Nothing's wrong with 5. 4. That's
even numbers.
Very
even numbers.
5,000 is an even number.
No, the 5 isn't even.
Candy, what about you? What's your New Year's resolution?
I fucking dig it.
I don't have New Year's resolutions. I don't like to partake in those. I just do it when I do it. But some I've been trying to do that I'm gonna keep trying to maintain because I fell off of it recently is definitely losing weight. And to steal from you, save too, because that's hard.
I'm gonna give a bravo to Candy because that was when I first started streaming. Candy joined in, and I was in the middle of doing a challenge for push-ups, and every day we did one push-up for 30 days. So we did day 1 push-up, day 2 2 push-ups, and we just built up all the way through the 30 days for the push-ups. So and Candy was in that he would record his video. And he's just hitting those push-ups, and other people were hitting those push-ups. So I'm gonna just give that man a bravo, because I know he can do it. So, but yeah, man, I think that we should just work on it, man, and hold each other accountable for it, man. I just think that should be the resolution this year. But beyond that, man, go ahead.
Speaking of which, I mean, so should we all do 5 push-ups at the end of this broadcast? Candy man over there like, heck no.
Go to the no. Hell to the no.
Big shout outs to everybody who is watching the streams on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. I am going to put this out there again. I did put the link up there. I know it's just a random link to some of y'all, but it's the journey forward. We're going to be reviewing this movie called First Kid. So make sure that you actually join that link, hit that link. That link is actually to go and to donate to the mental health care for the comedian and actor Sinbad. But first, before we get started, we're going to do a short I Say What I Said, man, and we're going to knock this out.
That link was a 404 error.
Oh, that was? Let me do it again. I'm gonna hit it.
I clicked it with the quickness. I was like, "Oh, what's this?" It didn't work because that last token or whatever looked like a freaking delta.
Okay, I'm copying it again. Hold on.
Just
I'm copying.
We really want Sinbad to get this assistance.
Oh, I see. I see.
We slogged through First Kid.
Oh, that / that's what made a 404 error.
There you go.
That / that's what it is. You did watch the Sinbad show, Blind Toes?
Yeah, we had to.
Blind Toes. Did you really watch the Blind Toes? I'm gonna ask you that question out loud for every. I'm going to put this on a podcast. that is actually being listened to in Germany and in India right now. I'm just going to ask you this question right now. Blind Toes, did you really watch the Sinbad show in your current condition?
Yeah, who are you asking? Who?
I'm asking Blind Toes on Twitch. So
Oh, got it. I was like, whose
because he's
nickname
one
is
of my
Blind
blind
Toes on here?
listeners. He's one of my blind
Oh, I
listeners,
see,
and
I
he
see,
said
I
he
see.
watched the Sinbad show. So, but with that, so first I'll say what I said. We now, because of the fact that the special request, because of yeah, that's what I had sight in high school. Okay, I feel bad now. You lost sight recently. So when he had sight in high school, he watched it. So big shout outs to that. Now with that,
okay, so because of Blind Toes, I clicked on Sinbad and went on the Sinbad show. Ray J was on that show, Brandy little brother. Also, Selma Hayek had a guest starring role on that show for 3 episodes. Selma Hayek. So yeah, that threw me off a little bit.
Danny Trejo's tattoo was on that show as well. All right. So here's the rules for I Say What I Said. It is a short stint. Think about as if you go to the bar, you listen to a person talk, and they'd be like, "Man, I said what I said," foghorn leghorn style. So what we do is we take the actual wow, man, that really needs to get rid of itself. So the premise of I Say What I Said, we take what happened this current week in the news, and I ask a question to our guest and also our co-host as well. And we take 2 minutes. They get 2 minutes to actually respond to that actual question. After that, if it's led to an actual dialogue, then boom, congrats, we got a dialogue. But if that actual topic becomes a dead topic, we hit them with this. Or we hit them with this.
Are you done? Are you done?
We hit them with one of those. We let them know that we got to be done with this thing. So that is a dead topic. But
hit them with the Showtime at the Apollo.
Hit them with the So after the actual 2 minutes, you're gonna hit this bell. But remember,
are you done? Are you done?
Those are the extra sounds that show that it's a dead topic.
I like all of them together. All of them.
Like,
are you done? Are you done?
We're gonna have to work that and put that together.
Just all at the same time.
If you want to know what our actual current topics is for actual I Say What I Said, make sure that you join our Discord. We do have an actual Discord right on there. I'm gonna actually put up another link for our Discord as well. So currently, this has actually been pretty hilarious. Chili, the singer from TLC, is now back inside of the actual dating world. She has been caught in dating the young actor, the younger 40 actor, the Matthew Lawrence. So with that, this question is for Jamel, because I know that Jamel knows the brief history of TLC and the brief history of a lot of these people in the entertainment area. So my question is for you, Jamel. You bounce back on that one.
I pulled up I didn't know who the hell Matthew Lawrence was. And then
it's a thing. It's a real
dude is
thing.
dating too. Wow. Okay. Good for him.
Y'all see me whisper who? I was like, who?
Matthew Lawrence. So they had the Lawrence
Can you
brothers.
tell us who Matthew Lawrence is, please? History.
Joey Lawrence's younger brother. Okay, so if you don't know who Joey Lawrence is, he was on this show called Blossom. Yeah. All right, if you don't know what Blossom is,
did that come on right after?
I got
it even simpler.
Okay, so if you don't know what Blossom is, it's the Amy Farrah Fowler from The Big Bang Theory. It was the show she was on when she was a little kid. Joey Lawrence, her brother on the show, and his little brother, Matthew Lawrence, is dating Chili, and he was also on Boy Meets World.
All right, I got it even farther simpler for him, so you can know directly who it is. If you ever seen Boy Meets World, he is his name is Joey Hunter. He is the brother of Ryder Strong's character Sean Hunter inside of the actual TV show. So you see him be the best. He's the brother of Ryder Strong's character, as well as also he is the best friend to Will Friedle, whatever his name is, Eric Matthews character in the actual TV show. This is when they go
I think I overcomplicated it.
So, but yeah, if you've seen him at Boy Meets World, that's where he's at. Huh?
Have you ever seen Mrs. Doubtfire, JT?
Of course.
The boy from that movie. That's who he is. I could have just
even more
saved us all time. Anyway, go with the question.
Less vague than he was on Boy Meets World. You know how many people are on Boy Meets World? At least
right.
A lot of people.
I thought it was easier with it, just thinking about like he's Sean Hunter's brother, bro. That's okay. Yeah, you're right. As soon
as you said Boy Meets World, that's who I was like, oh, okay.
Gotcha. So he was in that show. So with that, yes, that's even simpler. Doubtfire, he was the only boy in that class, that show. So yeah, that movie. So Jamel, simple question, man. Should we care that Chili is dating somebody else and has? Okay, before
I don't even need 2 minutes.
Okay,
nope, we shouldn't.
All right.
Honestly, we shouldn't care. Chili is like, this dude is 42 and Chili is 51. They both grown. They both got money. Say what I said. It's not important.
I think that, you know what? Here, I'm gonna be devil's advocate on this one. I think we should care. For this
is a dead topic already.
Straight up.
Listen, I think we need to talk
philosophically. Let's go.
We need to talk philosophically about these celebrity couples. So, History, say your piece, and I'm gonna chastise you a little bit.
Yeah. I
really don't care right now. I really don't care.
That's my point. None of us do.
So let's go to the next question.
Yeah, why really don't bring it up?
Like, if you gotta talk about who is effing who, unless you in the room with them, it don't matter. It's none of your business. And I don't care about these celebrities who dating so and so dating such and such. I don't give a crap. Dog, it doesn't
as long
matter.
as they all consenting adults and nobody's harming the kid, I don't care.
Just exactly. They ain't no statutory nonsense going on because nobody she's only 9 years older than him, and they're both over the hill.
Oh yeah.
This is a you can't even drum up some controversy about this, my dude.
Now, if you're saying she's single and she's looking, shoot her my number. I'll go with it.
Fair enough. Well, that's kind of my point.
Ab routine, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that was my point, man. Well, that was kind of like the thing that I was trying to go with at first, is the fact of like, man, Chili has been like really jumped the gun on a lot of relationships. Like, and her most famous one recently was obviously Floyd Mayweather. But it just felt like, man, she just kind of jumped from. Yeah, she tried to Jane. Her and Floyd Mayweather had a thing at one point in time. That was like what, like 2000 and.
I really don't care.
19? Yeah, my thing is, I had forgotten that she was a thing until you brought it up right now. Like, honestly, and then I just looked.
The last person I ever heard of her dating was Usher, and that was at least 20 years ago. So
right after not too long after Usher, it was Floyd Mayweather, bro, for real.
Like, and then she figured out he couldn't read, and she just moved on.
No, he started swinging. He's the one that actually was like, "Nah, I can't do this." He's the one that did that, man. So that's the only thing I just find hilarious.
I don't want to talk no junk about Floyd Money Mayweather.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Come on, show.
All right. So now that we got that out the way, we got to talk about this, homie. It ain't news if somebody's dating somebody that has a baby. It ain't news. If the baby from an endangered species, last I checked, Puff Daddy's balls is not endangered. so it don't matter what comes out of it.
Exactly.
Stop bringing this up. We don't care. Our listeners don't care, and they don't listen to us to be a gossip rag. You want some gossip? Go to TMZ.
Exactly.
This is historical voices from the East Side, because we talk about stuff that matters to the community.
In history,
stuff that's actually fun.
It's in the name.
Stop bringing this up. Next time you ask me about Nick Cannon, I'm gonna throw something at you when I see you next. I'm gonna go to your house. I'm gonna go to your work. Just throw a can of cat food at you. Stop.
So y'all told me not to ask questions about Nick Cannon when he had like 4 or 5 kids last year. I just figured that we move on to the next.
You gotta fight.
Thing.
Stop.
Fight those instincts to bring.
You just gonna have to go zen and just not.
That's just me.
Next time you want to bring up some celebrity crush shit, we don't care. Oh no, sorry, Sinbad.
All right. I got a real question.
Come on, dog.
This is a real question.
Blind Toe agrees too.
Blind Toe, I agree.
Thanks, Blind Toe.
Blind Toe said, "I agree. It doesn't matter."
Everybody agrees to this, homie. Everybody.
Oh
now, history. I'm gonna say this. If your next question got something to do with a celebrity, we override and we just jumping right to the movie section. We ain't got time for the celebrity stuff.
Well, it does have to do with celebrity. It actually does have to do with celebrity. It's important. It's definitely look. JT wrote in a different forum that nobody cares. Oh my god!
You don't even like. Why do you bring it up when you don't even care? Why?
Say the name before you even go forward with the whole question. Say the name of the person that the question is about, and let us decide if we want you to pursue with the question.
You're gonna be like, so Chili from TLC. We're gonna be like, nah, dog, we don't know nothing about that. Just go ahead. And
I promise. I won't do it again. I won't do it again. I just think it's this next question, please. Thank you. So here's the question. So John Oliver is supposed to be rumored to be quitting his show last week tonight. The common trend has been that late night hosts have been quitting their hosting jobs before the 10-year mark. We just recently lost Trevor Noah, and then also there's several other late night hosts that are leaving their actual jobs. So like Jimmy Corden, Jimmy Corden. Yeah, I was right. And then James Corden. Yeah, I say Jimmy like I know. James. Yeah. They're supposed to be leaving their jobs as well. Ellen just left last year, so a lot of these hosts are leaving their jobs. But the difference between them is that Trevor Noah and also John Oliver has always been satire and news. And recently, it's been more of a common trend that people have been getting their news not only from social media, but more so from websites like The Daily Show, as well as also Last Week Tonight. So my question is for you, JT. How big of a loss is this for the purpose of news? How big of a loss would it be if he did leave?
If John Oliver quit his job, it's probably because they offered him The Daily Show.
They need to.
You didn't even consider that, did you? You didn't even think about it.
Well, the only reason why, and I'm just gonna ring the bell on this one, and we're gonna. I didn't mean to hit the dead bell. Dead.
But what is Blind Toes gonna think now?
Damn, that's fucked up. That's so fucked up.
He can't see you messing up over there.
All right, so with Blind Toes, that's getting you back for that one time that you talk shit about his hair. So with that, I think that he didn't get the job for Daily Show. I don't think that he's gonna leave. I think it just definitely is that it's a rumor. What up, Big Leaf? One of the reasons why I think that, because of the fact that he did go on the record, say that he liked the fact that he received a contract where he got creative control. And if you've been paying attention to the shows, he has not been scared to make fun of like the main owners of these companies like HBO Max, which at one point in time it was AT&T, Time Warner, obviously, and then also now with Discovery owning their actual company as well. So he's talked massive head about every one of them. So I just don't think that he wants to leave that creative control unless he's just tired of doing the job.
Well, ultimately, I think that, see, here's the problem. That a lot of the satire news guys do better journalism than what you can get on the mainstream media. You're going to have less, I don't want to say bias, because the bias is really funny. But like when I watched The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, he would be serious, stop and do a silly joke, back to news, stop and tell a silly joke, news, stop. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that is the best way to get news. But if what they're giving you is factual and then they start joking about it, that's another thing. So like, take the Patriot Report. Hassan Minhaj was on the Patriot Report on Netflix for a long time.
Patriot Act.
About a year. And he got canceled because, he started making fun of Saudi Arabia and other stuff. But he was shedding a lot of light on things. And, it's really great when you have some Arab-looking dude who comes up and says, hey, yeah, I'm an American. This is the Patriot Report. And a lot of people who consider themselves patriots are like, wait a minute, now he's the tack that we need to keep out. And so, just to call that kind of stuff out to begin with is already asking for trouble and shenanigans. But that's what comedians love to do, because that's what begets a lot of comedy. So as far as a loss for John Oliver retiring, I really am not a fan of the satire and news format. I think you should be able to make jokes while you tell the news. And so what it seemed like to me is, especially John Oliver and Trevor Noah, those are the big two, in my opinion, who would really just tell you a joke and then stop and do a bit. And then they will go back to telling you news and stuff, and then add a joke and then add a bit, later on. And so I thought that formula was just a little choppy. I really want you to keep it on the news and be like, well, that's like doing this, and just give me like funny equals, you know what I'm saying? This translates to this, and make it amusing or make it relevant. And I think that would be a better way to actually get the news across to a lot of people. Right now, Kevin McCarthy, who was basically a Donald Trump brown noser, lost his 10th bid for Speaker of the House. This has never happened. There has never been another, like a second Speaker of the House bid for like 100 years, y'all. This is cheap.
Yeah, I was going to say,
but
they keep saying on the news, not since the Civil War, which is not a good thing to hear.
Yeah, that's true.
As it relates, like, yada, yada, yada. Since the Civil War, oh, damn, things are not going well for me.
But that's
hilarious.
That in and of itself is funny enough. You don't need to stop and then go off and do a bit about like, oh, I'm in the Civil War and I got a musket, and do some. The fact that he has lost 10 times in a row is funny enough as is. If you've seen the picture with AOC standing behind Matt Gaetz or whoever the pedo Republican congressman was, her face says it all. It's hilarious. Don't nobody want you, McCarthy. Don't nobody want you. And so you have a lot of comedy you can derive from that without stopping, throwing the news away and doing a bit. So when you say how like devastating is this? The whole point of the media is to make awareness about situations. And as long as people do that, in the general sense that they're making you aware, good. But I don't think it's a great loss if you can still get the same information from other sources.
I think the whole satire part of it was just more of a way to make it easier for people to consume. Because if we think back to like Jon Stewart, who was like the man when it came to news and making fun of people, like I watched that's how I got a majority of my news and how to look it up was because he added that comedy thing. It didn't feel like I was just sitting down and watching a new broadcast with these uptight white people up on the screen just going like, oh, this is what happened today in the news, blah, blah, blah. He was bringing something more to it. He was giving us a break from that just dry information being bolted to your face and all that bullshit. And I understand that like losing people like them kind of sucks in a sense, but it's not that important either. There's other places to get your news. Like I personally get a lot of my news. I don't know if y'all know this YouTuber, but Philip DeFranco. I fucking watch his news things all the time. That's how I get like 90% of my news sources and stuff. And with him being on YouTube and stuff, he links all the information he's talking about down on his videos, so you could go and do deeper research into the stuff that's being talked about out there. The only thing is, since it's only him and his crew, right, he doesn't cover a full range of what's going on out there, right? But it's still a big chunk, and he's very unbiased about everything. He'll talk about the left, the right, anything in between, you know what I'm saying? But with like Jon Stewart and all them comedian satire people, you know, they use the comedy part of it to really like just get you hooked on what's going on and try to make you think of something, you know what I'm saying? Which is nice.
So, I think that it's a loss because of the fact of the easy way to digest the news. I would say it's a bigger loss to lose John Oliver versus Trevor Noah. I felt like Trevor Noah definitely falls into what JT says. He'll do a joke and then do a bit, and then like the whole traffic news, that's what Roy Wood Jr. would do, and so on and so forth. So honestly, it does fall flat sometimes. Whereas John Oliver would make a joke, but that joke is more so to kind of connect like how this thing is similar to the next thing. And so I would say he will be a bigger loss. Excuse me. He would be a bigger loss, especially because of the fact that he doesn't talk about what's the most common news thing. So he's not always talking about the election. Hey, I quick do a bit about the actual the election. Quick bit about like what's another thing that quick happened to the this past week. But there's a main course topic. So the election that's in Iran, the election in Brazil, because we don't talk about those things necessarily. So I would say that he does a really good job at that part. Whereas when you get the people like Trevor Noah and you get the people kind of like Amber Ruffin, when they do the news, it just feels definitely like a little quick jokes and bits. So I definitely agree with that. I just think that like John Oliver is a different hit versus Trevor Noah. Jamel, you have anything on this topic, or are we going to call this a dead topic?
We can call it a dead topic.
Are you done? Are you done?
Awesome sauce. The next thing, the next topic was on here is about Warner Brothers is assigning a audience measurement pact with a competitor for the Nielsen measurement company. This company is called Video Vector Amp. Let me correct myself when I actually read the name. Video Amp. I'm sorry. The company is called Video Amp, and it's to actually get actual more accurate measurement of the actual video consumption. So for example, all four of us, we all have let's just say Disney Plus, because we just watched the actual show. So they will have an accurate measurement that 4 people watch First Kid, right? Whereas if we were going to Netflix, if we all had the same like Netflix account, right, they will only say one person watched this show because they all based off of that one. Go ahead. What you was gonna say?
So how is the collection, the measurement collected? Is it times the movie was viewed? Is it different IP addresses that viewed the movie? How are they getting this more accurately?
I don't know. I think it's based off of the actual click. So it's actually clicking the actual duration, which will be kind of similar to what you get from YouTube, more so than anything. So like if I watched
the video, accidentally clicked on it, it would just count even though I might have backed out right away.
Exactly. So
you're
that's
30 seconds or whatever, you know, to count that view.
Yeah. So that's
watch time
kind
would have to be something that they factor into, like how long people actually watch.
And you know what? I'm okay with these measurements as long as they're anonymous. A lot of the problems that we got, especially with things like TikTok, is they don't anonymize their information. So anybody working for TikTok can just go in and pull your stuff out and know who you are, what your email address is, what your phone number is, what kind of device you on, where you at, where you looked at it, you know, at the stuff from, your search history. All that stuff is out there. So I am actually pro the information of how your product is being used going back to the manufacturer. That they should know how their product is being used so they can make it better. But when you talk about, oh, there's a competitor for Nielsen, and Nielsen has been doing this since TV was basically invented. They used to send out boxes, and then like they would actually figure out what you watched through the box and send it back to Nielsen that way. And so there was a Simpsons episode where Homer got like 30 Nielsen boxes or whatever, and whatever he was doing was severely weighted, you know. And so
It was Family Guy.
I thought that was Family
That
Guy
was
too,
the
yeah.
plot of the Family Guy episode.
oh, it was. I thought Homer did that stuff. Oh well, some
I thought
boob
Homer
did
did that too.
it. Pretty
Nah,
sure.
From what I remember, I remember it as
It
Family
was
Guy.
Family Guy.
Might have
Yeah.
been.
But either way, they basically the same person.
They did
They
it,
had a
yeah.
fight and everything together. So you're not wrong. I think the problem is with Nielsen is the fact of like with the Nielsen guide, at one point in time, it was basically you got a composition notebook and you had to write down everything that you listened to and then hope the guy that you wrote it at the right time. And so the problem is though, you kind of had the Mandela effect. And so yes, did you listen to the song Respect? But was the song Respect the correct person? So you thinking that you did hear Respect, but technically it was covered by some white boy group that was in Detroit at the time. So that was the kind of like the problem with the Nielsen group. That's actually a real stat that actually really happened. The song Aretha Franklin Respect did come out, and even though this song was popular and booming in Grand Rapids, Michigan, it was actually a top group that was the top Billboard like 40 or top 100, whatever like that in Grand Rapids. It was actually a white group in Detroit that actually covered the song, and they got actually the credit for being played the most for that song. So that's actually a real thing that actually did happen. But that was like in the 60s or something like that, 60s or 70s
You
at the time.
know, I had a buddy who told me if you want to get popular on YouTube, what you do, if you want to cover a song, you just go on and whatever the number one song is at the time, you go and cover it. And then that way, you know, or whatever next big song comes out. Let's say Bieber comes out with a new song. So you go and you cover his song that just came out Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? And so it's Thursday now. You put that stuff on by Friday when Bieber's stuff is getting big. You know, oh, he only had 1 million views, but now he's up at 30 million views by Friday, and your stuff is getting seen all of Thursday night. And so he was like, that's how you creep up, you know, and you can get a couple 100,000 views just having something similar. And people be like, oh, what's this one? You know? So it's ways to manipulate the algorithms. And so as long as no manipulation is going on, I honestly think it's a good thing. You should know that I stopped your show at this time. But if you know that I stopped the show and resumed it, well, then you can assume that I just went to go take a leak or something. You know what I'm saying?
That's
But if I stopped the show and didn't come back to it, your show wasn't good enough to get me to finish, baby. You got to come back and try again.
Gotcha,
Didn't
man.
pass that finish line there.
Gotcha. I'm gonna call this a dead topic. I got one more real fast before we gotta go to our movie review real fast. Dave Bautista said that he's really happy. He's relieved about leaving Guardians of the Galaxy as Drax. That's kind of been a gimme. We all kind of knew that he was gonna be leaving that as well. The next thing, obviously, Jimmy Renner was ran over by his actual snowcat. That was another one. Sony announced this actual new accessibility controller, which is a PlayStation 5 Project Leonardo controller, which is supposed to be the competitor for Xbox accessibility controller as well. But the biggest one has been for our random topic is a video that was that's circulating on YouTube, and it's Neil deGrasse Tyson on the podcast, and the title of it is "I will not attend a interview on being black." So he gives the story about how he was asked to do an interview about a solar flare, and it was during the time where apologize. It was during the time when they were kind of freaking out about what was going on with the actual solar flare. They didn't know what was going on exactly or anything like that. It was new that this explosion happened on the sun. And so it finally led to eventually that he was asked to do an interview because of the fact that all of the other scientists were coincidentally on lunch break at the time. And he was the only one accessible at the time. They asked him for an interview. He gave this interview. And he said this was the first time that he seen on TV that A black man is getting interviewed on his expertise and not because of the fact of his blackness. And he later goes on to say that basically he does not want to be associated with the idea of being interviewed during Black History Month about being a black scientist and stuff like that. He distanced himself from that. And he feels that if he's being interviewed and being identified by us as the consumers or the people who watch him, he feels that he has failed as a person and as a scientist if you only identify him because he's a black scientist. So I'm going to go with the question for you, Candy, because I haven't asked you this question at all. And I think that you were going to kind of give an answer as well. And then I want Jamel to kind of take us away so that we can go into our movie review as well. So give us a response. So 2 minutes on the clock for this one. We kind of dibble the dabble a little bit, but let's get back on track a little bit. But Candy,
so
we watched the video yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And I think that you kind of already got the a little bit of gist of the question, but to reiterate, do you feel like it's important to be identified as a black scientist or a brown scientist, whatever like that? I'm going to ask that first simple question.
No, and I'm saying no just because from watching the interview and everything, and if you watch it, you'd understand where he's kind of going with it. He says that he doesn't want to be represented as the reason he's being interviewed is because he's a black man that happens to be a scientist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that because, like I was saying yesterday after we watched it, he has that Star Trek mentality that he wants everybody to be in a position where they're only seen as the position they're in, right? So, you know, like I was saying, if you're the captain, right? You're not the black captain because you happen to be black or Mexican or something, right? You're not a sergeant because you're happen to be this race or whatever. But the problem with that is that we're not in that time yet, right? Like we're not in that perfect world that's the Star Trek mentality. And you have to represent the race you are regardless on if you want to or not, because it helps the race in the long term, right? Like I understand he doesn't want to be seen as a black scientist, he wants to be seen as a scientist, but by denying that part of him, he's basically not helping out his community, which at this point in time is hurting in a lot of ways, and needs people in his position, in his point of view, that they need him to represent his blackness, regardless on if he wants to or not. Because again, like I said, I understand where he wants to be, but we can't be there yet. And so you have to step back from that part and be like, I am black, and I happen to be this very, popular and famous scientist. There we go.
You fine. You say what you said, man. So
Yeah.
you did make a statement about that, man, and you did say that like it seems like he's skipping steps. That was the
Exactly.
that was the way that you said it. Yeah. JT, since you're back, you heard that. You heard the interview. I'm gonna ask you, what was your perspective on that interview?
So there's something about dudes in Neil deGrasse Tyson's age bracket that thinks when you look at them and you no longer consider that they're black, that they've made it. That was their version of success. Oh, nobody mentioned that I'm a brother. Nobody mentioned that. Nobody threw it back in my face. I must have overcome racism. What we learned is that racism went underground and became more covert. We learned that racism hides behind ambiguity. Oh, I didn't know this is where the racism resides. So in order to do that, you have to clearly draw out your own lines. What Neil deGrasse Tyson basically said is, I'm an expert on science. I'm not an expert in being black. And what my comment was last night that I thought stuck best is if somebody asks you about your appearance and how your life has been different because of it, you should be ready to speak up on that. If you're a really tall person and you always smacking your head on doors, you should be able to speak on that subject. How is it like being really tall? Well, I got to duck a lot, got to watch my head. One time I just decided, screw it. I just put my football helmet on and just kept that mug on for a day. If you're a big dude and you find that people discriminate against you on the plane, oh, I don't want to sit next to him, I'm gonna be uncomfortable. Talk about those situations. If you a black person, talk about the times that people looked at you different when you saw them in person versus talking to them on the phone. Right, Jason? Yo, soft speaking, bro. So you should be willing and able. You should be both of those things to talk about your situation. And what we saw is Neil deGrasse Tyson being like, I'm not black. That's not the most important thing about me. I'm a scientist first. You can forget the whole black thing even existed because I'm a scientist is what he was trying to say. And when you just look at me like just a scientist, then we've reached racial nirvana. That was essentially what he was trying to go with. But like Andy said, he was skipping steps. Don't ring me out, dog. I'm almost done. But let's say you're a well-endowed woman. You could ask, you could have a whole conversation about how people have treated you differently when you came through and then turned to the side. And all of a sudden they're like, well, dang, even though he was dressed in a parka. This is if you can't speak on this, that's why I feel like every black person is an expert on being black, because you've been it your whole life. You've been doing it for 30 some years. You know what I'm saying? You've been a minority your whole life. And if you ain't got those many decades to come back and pull a couple of anecdotes on, you ain't doing nothing for the people who also look like you.
Are you done? Are you done?
You see me drinking. Yeah, I'm done.
I want to get Jamel's perspective on this, man. So, I really want Jamel's on this one because, I want to say this, man. Jamel's my homie, man. He's been doing this this podcast and shit. We've been doing this for since pandemic, right? So that's 3 years. We've been doing this. We've been doing episodes with each other every now and then since 3 years. And the first project that we technically did together was I had a friend who asked me to get a couple of people who were black to write, because he was just starting his publication. Coincidentally, he started his publication company February 1st. Coincidentally, that he started it. He quit his job at the local newspaper and he wanted to go full digital with his actual publication company. And he asked me and Jamel to write an article. I felt awkward about it because when I'm a good friend of his and I really, really respect my friend, but it just felt awkward that I'm writing an article coincidentally only because of the fact that it's Black History Month. So Jamel went on and wrote a movie on black movies that white people should be able to watch as well.
You know what? That's an important thing to spread out there, though.
Yeah.
Because you gotta have a common ground with some people, but you also can't just culture shock them where they gotta ask you all the questions. You ever watched a movie with a white person and they want to stop every 5 minutes and be like, hey, what do they mean?
Yes.
To that point, I actually have experience in this specific area.
Let's hear it, dog.
My roommate, when I started going to college, his name's Paul. He is one of the whitest people you're gonna find. Our mutual friend who's named Amber, she was our next door neighbor who's black. Me and her had a connection over movies because we watched similar shit. Right, but Paul has never experienced any black movie whatsoever. So we were going to be getting into this thing where we were going to show him some black movies, like some shit. Never show a white person who's never seen black people movie, the DMX movie, Never Die Alone. That shit fucked him up. He did not want to watch any more black movies after that.
Oh, God. Damn. So my question specifically for Jamel is this. This is kind of going into
2 minutes.
I know this was it was supposed to be a dead topic, but I'm giving you fully 2 minutes real fast, and then we're gonna go kick it out. And then also JT told me not to fucking ring him out, remember? So with that, Jamel, they recently announced on Disney Plus that they're gonna release the Black Panther Wakanda Forever 2 movie.
I thought you was gonna ask me about Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I am. It's gonna get it. It's gonna get there. It's gonna get there.
You gotta be more straightforward with these.
You gotta let it play out, bro. You gotta let it play out.
All right, we're trying to get to Chicago, but you trying to take us through Kalamazoo all the way. Want us to take a boat ride across the lake into Illinois?
I think you should take that ride. Take that ride. It's only a little bit. It's an hour.
The scenic route.
You still got to go. You still got to go to Grand Rapids. You got to go through Grand Rapids to get to this area.
This is actually taking longer. So go right ahead.
So with that, few minutes later, you know what, Blind Toast, I don't like your ass. So I don't like your
Oh shit!
Thanks for watching, Blind Toast. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate the views.
I don't like your ass. You know what? Y'all gonna let me moderate or what? Y'all gonna let me moderate? I'm just asking.
Ain't nothing moderate about this.
Elaborate.
All right, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna get away from my hard hitting question because I was gonna ask you the more serious question, but that's okay.
You know, just ask the question.
Right, get to it.
I was getting to the question, but then you told me I was going somewhere else.
Kalamazoo, my dog. You was in Kalamazoo.
You was talking about Black Panther, and you was just on Neil deGrasse Tyson.
The question. If you listen to the question, I was gonna associate it with it.
Sir, give your question.
That's okay. Why is it important to have a black scientist?
Dude,
you wanted this. You wanted this straightforward shit. Why is it important to have a black scientist?
I will answer the question if you would allow me. The reason is that you have the reason why it's important. You know what? I don't even want to answer the question no more. Let's keep going. Let's move forward. So, topics dead.
Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me?
Yes, I am. Go right ahead.
How about you, History? If you want to answer to that question, look up Mr. George Washington Carver. Yeah, you can do all the rest of the research you need to on black science.
I'm down for whatever, man.
Charles Drew. Oh man, before he fucked up, Ben Carson was one of those people that you could be like,
But that's kind of that's why I'm asking you. Why is it important? I'm really seriously asking you the question.
It's important that young black people see more career options besides the typical entertainers or the typical just base level careers that they can be. It's important that more black young men, more black young women get into these STEM fields to help improve and better the community. One day we may get to a point where the idea of not seeing a person's race exists. We ain't there yet. In an ideal world, you should be able to talk about a scientist, whether that scientist is black, Mexican, Asian, any time of the year, without having to make a big deal about it. One day that's gonna happen. Today ain't that day. So Neil deGrasse Tyson, he didn't go quite OJ level of I'm not black, I'm OJ, but it's in the neighborhood. Like it ain't on the same street, but it's close. Like he driving past it.
It's only 2 blocks away. It's over there by the liquor store.
It might, it's close. It's a few stores in between, but it's close. It's in that vicinity. So yeah, you black, you're gonna have to accept that. Like,
gotcha.
It is what it is.
All right. Now, Jamel, man, what's our movie do today, buddy?
All right, into the movie review section. We decided to do some Sinbad stuff this month. Links are in the description for the journey forward. Go ahead, go there, donate. But we're kicking off Sinbad appreciation times with his 1996 movie, First Kid. It is about Sinbad as a Secret Service agent who is being assigned to guard the first kid, aka the child of the president. Before I give my thoughts, Candy, you're the guest.
All right.
What do you think of Sinbad's performance in this movie?
All right, so honestly, I literally just watched it like right before we started the shit. Was because when I was talking to History here, he was telling me he wanted to do the Cherokee Kid, so I rented that shit for $4 and I watched it. And then yesterday he told me we were doing this one, and I didn't have time up until now. But if y'all haven't seen the Cherokee Kid, I can't compare his acting to that, but
Why not?
I enjoyed it.
Did he not act in the Cherokee Kid too?
He did, but if you haven't seen the movie, you don't understand where I'm going with it. But if you have, he did a better job in this one than he did in that one. Sorry, History. I know it was your favorite movie, but you know I don't feel his acting skills are up to par, right? Because I like his comedy and all that, but yeah, it wasn't there. Like, I enjoy the little comedy skits here and there with the movie and all that, but his acting, I don't feel was. I guess it was a product of that time too. You know what I'm saying? So.
JT, let's go into the kid themselves. How do you feel the kid and Sinbad? How do you feel that their chemistry went in this movie as a double act?
I think the movie would have been better if we did without the kid. We could have got rid of the kid and used the president, and I think the movie would have been much more serious, but there would have been no reason to involve children in the film. So the only reason that this film really was made was to market towards kids. But you know what I really can't stand? When you make a movie marketed towards kids and the main kid in there is an a-hole. Can't stand that, man.
Thank God, bro. That's the biggest fault in this movie. The kid is so fucking unlikable.
Yes.
He is irredeemable. Irredeemable.
Right?
There is no charm, no panache, no even like glimmer of hope that he could be a good person in the future. He is a sociopath. The child does not have feelings or emotions that work properly and guide him in his daily life. He does not care about anyone but himself. His dad is running the freaking world over here as far as America is concerned. And his mom want to interrupt the Joint Chiefs of Staff because he got a busted lip. He said, I guess them nuclear warheads can wait.
Right?
I would have been like,
if you don't get
the mother got this over. Security,
treaty.
how you let them in here? Oh my God. This is one of the movies. I'm going to say this and I'm going to jump back out, but this is one of those movies. You watch the movies from the 90s and you know some of the movies like, dang, if people just had a cell phone, like this whole, if they had a smartphone, none of this would happen. None of these shenanigans. Oh no, we're lost. Oh no, our tire's broken. We can't call anybody because we're miles from a phone. None of that would happen in today's age. All this kid needs is a whooping, and none of that would have happened in today's age. He just needed a belt. So when he stuck his behind out, first off, you should not be seeing minors' privates. So that was awkward. But when he stuck his behind out, I'm surprised somebody didn't come through with a belt. Like, hiya!
Right?
That's what I would have done. And so the first time he was out with Sinbad, I'd lean over to my wife, so you see how he got his belt on, though, right? He ain't gonna take this.
So history.
But the kid was just irredeemable.
You selected this film. And it was mainly you who was the steward, the pilot. Now me and JT agreed. Let's do some stuff about Sinbad.
Sinbad. We agreed for our sick brethren.
For Sinbad, you know, off of Jingle All the Way. Off of Jingle All the Way. So I want you to give your thoughts on Sinbad's performance and his relationship with this child in this movie.
As I look through my 6 pages of notes.
Go ahead, make yourself nice and big too, homie.
Go right ahead.
Really focus on your face there.
So to agree on what you said, JT, is the fact that the actual movie ends with Luke hitting Sinbad in the face with a hockey puck. after he just said that I'm gonna deny the job that I really wanted to be with this actual kid. That thing hits differently. And I really just thought that this kid was just a butthole the whole time. But I love this movie. I think it's a good movie for kids and family. I just don't think that it's a good movie if you're just a simple dude just watching it by yourself. I think that if you're a single person and you're a single dude, this don't hit the same way. I think that the paternal aspect of it makes sense. The trying to be the support aspect of it makes sense. Dealing with teenagers makes sense. I do agree the kid is unredeemable because there was times that like, bro, I'm like, I get it. You're struggling with the idea of going to this new school, but like he's going to high school. This is his first year of high school. I don't understand how this is a big major problem. All those kids are brand new going to this high school. So there was points in times that it just felt like it was super petty. I do think that the two antagonists of the movie is not the Woods, who is the guy who is actually secretly typing Luke in the movie. I think that there's three antagonists, but one is a sub antagonist, and this is the quote Jamel. In the movie Spider-Man, the worst person in the movie is actually the butler who didn't tell Norman Osborn's son, which is James Franco, who plays his son, that hey, your dad wilded out and killed himself. It's not that it's that person. I say the IT guy is the sub antagonist in this. Outside of that, it is Luke and it is the actual chief of the actual organization, which is Morton. So I had a problem with all of those people. But as far as the movie itself, I thoroughly enjoyed it, man.
Okay, cool. So JT.
Yeah.
Let's try and be positive about the movie. We all have our thoughts. What would you say is the funniest moment or the moment that you enjoyed the most in the movie? And I have a feeling me, you, and Katie might be on the same accord for a moment. But we'll let you go first, JT. Go right ahead.
The funniest part of that movie was when Sinbad took him to the boxing ring, to boxing class. And when Sinbad got hit in the balls by the kid, first thing, I leaned over and told my wife, I would have hit the kid in the face. Look at him. He got protective gear and stuff on. What better time to hit a kid than when they're properly geared up to take a hit? So I would just hit the kid back. You're going to punch me in the balls. You're going to get laid out. Pow! Straight, just straight. No pulling punches. Nah, just a whole boom. The tooth fairy gonna come visit you and break you off real good tonight, little dude. And then one of the young bucks, one of the older teens came up, was like, "Oh, I got this." And he moved Sinbad out the way. He get the bag, he hit it, popped the kid in the face, and I'm like, yes. And then when the other kid, yeah. And so when
what about you? What's your favorite part?
Oh, I had one more, but okay.
Oh, go right ahead.
Oh no, you didn't skip me. No, just when Sinbad was trying to get dude to remember him, and he was like, "Yeah, I remember you was fighting dude for the Golden Gloves, and what year was that? 77. Oh yeah, you got him with a good right in the first round." He was like, "Yeah, I did. Yeah." And then in the second round, you got spanked like a 4-year-old at Kmart. Best line in the film. Funniest line in the film. That was the best. The moral of the story is kids need to get hit more, y'all. Helps them.
Favorite moment and what would you say best moment of the movie?
Let's see here. Favorite. I mean, the thing that made me laugh was definitely the punching in the balls and the boxing. Whole scene right there, that shit was hilarious. I can't, that was my top choice. But I also enjoyed the whole him being in the pizza outfit and then being thrown around by them kids into the cake and all that shit. I just found it stupid. I was like, come on, man, why do you have to be dressed up in this motherfucking thing? Especially with all these damn rowdy kids around here and shit. But honestly, I mean, Oh yeah. Sorry. Honestly, there was very little in the sense of like I found impactful that I really enjoyed, but those couple scenes were definitely some I had fun with.
History. So go ahead and provide us with your favorite moment of the movie as well as your funniest moment, and then I'll provide mine before we go on to the next section of.
I have a small one, and then I have my actual absolute favorite scene. I feel like the most underrated scene was when when Luke said to Sims, "It will be a shame I told my dad about you taking me boxing," and then Sinbad said, "It would be a shame if I threw you out the window." Dog, that shit.
What a great comeback to just would you like to consider consequences for your actions, child?
Dog.
It's the best.
I thought that shit was so hilarious. But my favorite scene is actually like within the first 10 minutes of the movie, which is Sims, he goes into the mall. He got the bear claw. But the one thing I wrote was they had the mall security cop. He was like, "You can't park here." My man's made him an honorary FBI agent. And the first thing I thought was, and I knew this
Secret Service.
I
Get it
thought,
right.
Secret Service agent. I thought of Jamel because Jamel is like his dialogue on Herschel Walker, dog. I said that, bruh. Did Herschel Walker be Sinbad in the 90s? And now he thinks he's a Secret Service agent. So, but yeah, but the hilarious thing, dog, he went to Dunkin' Donuts with a fucking bomb. I'm so sorry, a bomb dog. And it was so hilarious. He told the dog to bark, but then he walked around when he got caught by Wilkes. And he said, "Man, how many times I told you that we can't have donuts?" Gave it to Dash. And then he said, "Also, on top of that, tell JB I can't be holding the dog while he go pee." And like that, the brush off that he did do that scene, I just thought it was perfect. And I think that JT kind of quoted it best, man. It was the best ad-libs in this, was in this movie, bro. He ad-libbed his ass off.
Remarks are just are probably the best part of the movie.
Yes, definitely.
There are so many funny just little scenes in there of just people and just talk for a while and we'll see what happens. They got some really funny stuff out of there. And so there was definite laughs. But most of them was in the first 65, 75%. And then at the end when they tried to get all serious, all that went out the window. And I thought it should have been wisecracking the whole way through. But it was apparently, my wife, when she was a kid, she was like, "This part always made me nervous. Maybe it's because of the music." It was really intense, but there was no comic relief to be seen for the last 20 minutes of the film, basically.
Yeah.
And I think the film suffered because of that. A lot of films try to do that. Eddie Murphy be doing that, with his 48 hours and stuff. Funny. And in the last 15 minutes, oh, by the way, this is a real action film. By the way.
That's a good movie.
Shaft. The recent Shaft did that. The recent Shaft did that with the last few minutes of it being like nothing but serious, but really like the whole movie, he was like racking on his son for being basically what would P. Diddy say is metrosexual the whole time. So like, I mean, like the whole
nobody's seen that Shaft movie. You are speaking into the ether.
Wait, which one? You talking about the new one with Samuel L. Jackson, or the old one with Samuel L. Jackson? Or are you talking about the original one with not Samuel L. Jackson?
Richard Roundtree.
No, the new one with Samuel L. Jackson.
So I'm talking about as far as comparing to this movie. I was saying about the comparison is to like the 2019. I'm sorry, Shaft movie. That's what I'm talking about. That's the newest Shaft movie with Justin T. Usher. When you find out that when Richard Roundtree Shaft was actually not the uncle to John Shaft, which is Samuel L. Jackson's Shaft. Y'all don't remember that part of that movie? Okay, because y'all didn't see that.
I never watched that.
I just came back, dog. I went somewhere.
I was like, I haven't watched this.
All right, Jamel, bring this back. Bring this back.
Before I give y'all my favorite and funniest scene, just real quick. So, Shaft movie starred Samuel L. Jackson, and Regina Hall played the role of his baby mama.
Yeah.
There's a 22-year age difference between those two. Find that just interesting. So
that's far more
funniest
interesting than
scene.
Chili and the dude from Boy Meets World.
Right.
Luckily, that was just on screen, not IRLs. For
That
me,
man-
funniest scene, the mall stuff. I agree. The mall bomb dog stuff. Favorite moment is when the son from Home Improvement punches Luke. I love that moment. I do not.
That was a good moment. That
Let
was
me
a good moment.
reiterate. I
all
do
a
not like
favor.
this kid. It is one of the fun. That is genuinely one of the best moments of this movie. Is this little chick getting punched in the face? He deserved that. So,
Bro, my
we
original
all
note.
agree the kid is a piece of shit, and it's terrible.
My original note was in here was the fact that I was saying because he said, you where were you when he needed him? I was over here, and then he said, he needed support, and he said no, he got what he needed just there. Like
Exactly.
Yeah,
that was supposed to be a
an
serious
ass
moment.
whooping was necessary.
See,
An ass
For
whooping necessary.
real.
So,
For real.
Um,
And he finally got touched up a little bit. See, the problem is
Right?
people scared to put hands on kids these days. I tell you, don't leave your kids with me because I whoop ass. They'll be coming home all polite and proper, and you'll be like, what did Jonathan do? Threatened to whip their ass. The difference between me and you is I'll do it.
Can you
That was
imagine
funny.
if this
Historical
same kid
voices.
was born in this time? Like, can you imagine if this kid was born in this time age,
Oh, my
man?
God.
The inflation of that brattiness would have been crazy, man.
Mm.
But
so
yeah.
with regards to the kid, the actor Brock Pierce, do y'all think the movie could have been improved with a different actor?
Yes.
Significantly better. Could have been better.
The problem was
So, Candy, give me a young actor who you think could have replaced this guy. Got to be from
Okay,
around
wait,
this
wait,
time
wait.
period.
Around that time. Shit, since we got the home improvement kid in there, and he was still young at that point. Shit, what? I don't want to go with the default with Corey from there, but I could go with him. Shit. I'm gonna go with Corey from Boy Meets World, man. I think he would have did a good job. Actually,
Ben
also,
Savage.
yeah, and then also the kid from Home Alone. Why can't I remember his goddamn name?
Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin. Thank you. He would have been
This
a
movie
good.
could have been
cut his little butt off. That's why.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
actually a good actor. We saw him through Home Alone. We saw
Yeah.
him get better. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Home Alone 2, he was significantly a better actor than Home Alone 1.
But either one of those two, I would say okay, because I swear to God, I saw Topanga in this movie. She was one of the friends when they were out in the picnic, or at the picnic table. Like she was right next to the main girl, and I was like, "Is that Topanga?"
I mean, there was so many kids, but I'm gonna go with an older person more so than anything. And also it probably would have never been accurate for the movie though. It would have been Ernie Reyes Jr. would have been a perfect person for that.
I've been kicked out. Okay,
I don't-
now I'm here.
There you go. Ernie Reyes
Yeah, I was
Jr. would have been a good person for this one though. I don't know if y'all know who Ernie Reyes Jr. is.
I'm looking.
Yeah, but then you would have had to explain like, oh, hey, we somehow got a Filipino president.
Oh,
How that happened?
okay.
I
know this dude.
Look,
But that's what I say. It probably would have been a little bit more fake on that one in the 90s.
let me holler at y'all real quick about this film.
What about you, JT?
Here's the thing about this film. I think that this film is indicative of a lot of stuff that actually went on in our society. You know what I'm saying? Like you had a powerful family, and then you had some black people willing to just not look for glory and actually just handle business in their own position. And that was the reason anybody succeeded, because some people were just doing what needed to be done and weren't trying to get bigger than their britches. And so, I think in that sense, Sinbad was actually onto something good. Now, one of the problems I have with Hollywood is the lack of facial expression. So when Sinbad's talking, you can just look at his veneers, and and his eyeballs, like he doesn't have comedian's brow. You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't doing all the stuff he could be doing with it. And I think Hollywood kind of takes away some of that stuff. They just want you to stare at people's eyes and say your line, but keep looking at them. However you pontificate. You know what I'm saying? So I noticed that a lot with this movie because I've watched Sinbad do his live stuff, and I just feel like I hear what he's saying, but it really just felt like he was delivering a lot of lines.
I agree with you on that. Now that you point that out, because there's been some in both these movies. Because like I said, I watched Cherokee Kid and I watched this. And there was something about it that was taking me out of the comedy of it, and I couldn't figure out what it was.
It was a director telling Sinbad to stop hamming it up and just deliver the line. That's what the frick it was. And this is why Sinbad never hit as big as Jim Carrey, because these directors were shutting him down. And Jim Carrey, they were like, just keep rolling. And they just let him go crazy. And I really think Sinbad is as funny as him. So
if not funnier.
Jim Carrey is a 10 out of 10 funny. I don't think you can get any funnier than that. But
yeah,
ultimately, I really
think 94 might be undefeated.
Hey, liar. What's funnier than liar? Everything's as funny, but nothing is funnier.
Like before I give my pick for who could possibly replace Brock Pierce in this movie, I just gotta remind the young people who might be watching this. Jim Carrey, 1994, dropped 3 bangers. Opened the year up with Ace Ventura. Had The Mask in kind of the midpoint of the year. Towards the end, dropped Dumb and Dumber. All 3 of those movies hits. Funny. So Jim Carrey, he was that funny. Dude. He was that dude.
Can we talk about what is funny in the Talk about what's funny in the film after you're done.
Whew. That punching scene was funny, but maybe. Damn, Candy, you stole my pick because Macaulay Culkin could have made this work. Like Culkin could have made it work because he's a good actor, but the budget of this movie is also $15 million, and that might
used to rent out the White House.
That's a little low for Macaulay. He ain't getting out of bed for no $15 million budget movie. Maybe if he was struggling. This is 1996. I was gonna say DiCaprio, but he would have been too old for that. But yeah, Culkin.
You know what? He might not. Let's be honest. He might not. You could
see.
I mean, Culkin came out with the Home Alone series came out in 1990.
1992 or
90, so he would have been up at
he was what 12, 10, 12.
No, I was saying DiCaprio might have been too old for it. I was thinking Leonardo DiCaprio could have did this, but he would have been. He's not that much older. He's only 6 years older than the guy IRL. But let's see.
Can you imagine doing this again? Because there was a movie, My Date with the President's Daughter, which is not a terribly good movie, but ABC played it a lot, so I caught it a couple of times. Ain't nothing better going on network TV. When I was a kid, you had Able, which means whatever you was able to get on the rabbit ears, that's what we watched.
Yep.
So My Date with the President's Daughter, you had a kid, I'm pretty sure he was like in high school or something like that, or freshman at college or some crap. And they were older, they're 18. Can you imagine what like a 20-year-old first kid would be doing? The shenanigans they would be trying to do? They're always trying to sneak out. Now Sinbad really got to stop him. It wasn't the dog that set off the perimeter. It was the first kid. That would change the whole tone of the show. And I think just making it from PG to PG-13 could have brought a whole bunch of extra humor with.
We got the movie. We could have did this during the Bush White House years with his daughters, Jenna and Barbara. They legit were wild. So that actually could have worked.
Can I point out that I found it funny that they did that whole little skit with. Oh, can you? I just really like that they did that whole little skit with fucking Bill Clinton and his saxophone. Yeah. I don't know if y'all caught that shit. He goes, why don't you go ahead and check under the bed? I'm sure it's down there. Why the fuck are you in this person's bedroom with the saxophone, bro?
I really need that. that was funny. Best of you and Hillary. I thought it was good. And he was on the picture phone too. The picture phone, y'all. Oh. Technology was hot back then, wasn't
it? 96 radio technology.
They had the Oculus Beta up in that bitch.
Yeah, that was it was the worst 3D I've seen since Spawn.
I think I got one for you, Jamel, that I don't think that you thought about. During 96,
mention it.
No, 96, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was still on. Tatiana Ali could have been a good replacement for this character.
Yeah, the 90s did like doing the black president thing, so that probably could have worked.
That would have been a good one.
Why you say it like with such chagrin? Like, I concede.
Because knowing how Hollywood is, they probably would have did some bullshit like her mom is black and their dad is white. Mm-hmm. They would have did that.
Yeah, they would have had to have it.
We get that a lot.
I wanted to ask you a question. I really did write this question down for you because what I felt like with this one is I did feel like I got bored at a point in time. I do agree with that.
Oh, yes. It was an hour and 15 minutes. That's when it was.
Yes. So I did write down this question is the fact that I do like the dance lesson that he was giving him in the movie. But what made me think about this was when they did the zoom out and you seen that it was basically green screen that they were inside of the White House, right? And so I wrote down movies in the 90s have a good way of reminding you it's not real. Dash was dancing outside of the actual gym. They had the zoom out scene. So my question is, whoever wants to answer, just go for it. Is do you feel that's why modern films struggle today? Is because it fails to uphold the fantasy and plus and focus more on the actual universes themselves.
Bro, this is the whole problem with the MCU. I've said my piece.
So
Andy, you got anything?
I think with that, because you said you had that 55-inch fucking HD TV, right? Mm-hmm. And the problem with these movies is they were recorded and shown on low quality TVs and products. So if you're gonna be blowing that up to like a 1080p fucking screen, you're gonna see all the little fucking flaws and details, right? But if you remember back in the day, our TV was like this big. You had to turn 20 inches.
Yep.
So everything worked. So in our eyes at that time, we thought that was like, we didn't even realize it was green screen, right? It's not up until this point that we could see that it's fucking green screen.
We did realize it was green screen, but we did. But it was more forgivable.
We realized like, ooh, that White House looks shitty.
Right?
Dog, yeah, that scene was sus. It was sus.
Also, this is 4 years after Jurassic Park, where they convincingly had you believing that dinosaurs are real. So
that's because they didn't use green screen for a lot of it. And they use practical effects. And I tell you what,
like
100% of the time, practical effects stand up better because you're actually filming a freaking monster doing this as opposed to CGI.
And on top of that, I have two points on that specific Jurassic part, right? For one, the scene where the T-Rex breaks the window in the car with the kids in it, that was all practical effects. That wasn't supposed to happen, right? It was just supposed to be up there. It broke, it fell down and smashed the glass out of the window. So those kids were freaking the fuck out for real, right? But at the same point, if you're going to the 3D aspect, if you look at the very end where the T-Rex is like growling and the whole sign falls behind him, right? In the scene where he's fighting those velociraptors, he has one in his mouth, and there's a quick scene in it where he turns a little bit and the velociraptor disappears. He turns back and it comes back into view. Like it disappears from his mouth and comes back in. So, like Jurassic Park had a lot of practical effects that really helped it out, but it still had its flaws as well.
Well, that's a flaw for editing. That's not a flaw for the practical effects because the practical effect worked when it was there. They edited it poorly. So obviously
Also,
somebody back there in the room snipping that film was at fault for that one.
Go ahead, finish what you were saying, Joel.
Also,
Sorry, JT.
let's be honest, if you're in the heat of watching Jurassic Park, you don't notice that because that's an actual good movie. So
Yeah.
I want to hit y'all with some little behind the scenes question or behind the scenes facts about this movie before we go into our ratings of it. So, without using your Google machines,
Oh shit.
name one other movie that the director David Mikey Evans made. I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint about one. I have his I have his IMDb, aka Wikipedia, up, and that is not one of the movies that he has directed.
The only reason I said that is because the first kid was a young version of the other people, of one of the people in Mighty Ducks 1 and 2. That's the only reason I said that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give y'all a clue.
Please do, because I'm not good with names.
I mentioned a movie related to a movie that he directed.
Damn, we talk about a lot of movies.
So Shaft?
All right, boys.
Shaft.
It's a Jim Carrey movie.
Oh,
Baz and Liar Liar.
Ace Ventura.
Not Ace Ventura. Ace Ventura
When
Jr.
Oh,
Oh, Junior.
oh,
Oh God.
Yeah.
No.
oh
damn.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Did y'all?
All right,
watch
bro.
that?
We're gonna rate this motherfucker then.
There's another. In fact, there's another movie that I want to see if y'all can perhaps guess.
We can't. Just tell us. Put us out of our misery, bro. We don't know. Just tell us.
I'm gonna give y'all a clue. It
One
involves
guess.
childhood
Get one guess.
baseball.
Yo, we gonna huddle.
James Earl Jones is in it.
Sandlot.
Sandlot?
He directed The Sandlot. He wrote and directed The Sandlot.
Wrote it
Before he made this movie.
useless.
Before he made this movie, he made The Sandlot, and he was the narrator of The Sandlot, which means he fell the fuck off quick because it was 3 years between The Sandlot.
4 years later.
1996, he made this movie, Ed, which is about a baseball playing chimpanzee, and First Kid. And this nigga didn't get near any other big movies since then.
Fuck, dude.
And one more little fun bit of trivia that I want to give y'all.
Oh my God! Don't kill me no more, man. Don't hit
One of the starring members of this cast ran for president recently. Can y'all guess who?
Bill Clinton.
Donald Trump.
The non-politician, so not Sonny Bono and not Bill Clinton.
Oh, okay. No.
One of the actors.
Jonathan, not Jonathan Taylor Thompson, the boy that punched
Home
Luke in the
Improvement.
face.
Yeah, Home Improvement, right?
The Home Improvement kid.
And it is actually Brock Pierce, aka Shitface the Kid, the actual first kid, ran for president as an independent in 2020.
What?
No way.
And also attempted a Senate run in 2022.
Oh my God!
Why?
Damn.
What was his platform? I've been in the White House, so I know more about it than you. I filmed there a couple
to show how
times.
serious he was, he invited Kanye West when he was running for president in 2020 to a convention along with 5 other confirmed independent candidates.
There you go.
And so he's been into some interesting stuff. He's been into real estate. He's also been into that cryptocurrency, aka funny money. He was into that for a little bit too. So yep, Brock Pierce, presidential candidate.
Oh my God, bro! Let's hurry up and rate this goddamn movie. Fuck this. Now you done ruined this movie for me. You done became Adam Conover, and you done ruined this movie, dog.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You know what? That is a Christmas and birthday present for your kids because now you will not have the desire to put them through seeing this damn movie. So to history boy and history girl, Y'all are welcome.
Listen, if we could remake the movie and just have it be Sinbad, I think the movie would be good.
Yeah,
I want like an edit,
Sinbad.
just Sinbad talking.
But
Like
we
not
said
even the
that-
kid, just Sinbad talking. Like just his scenes.
But remember, we said that about Jingle All the Way is the fact of, and that's what led the idea of doing the Sinbad month, is that it should have been roles reversed. Hank should have been Sinbad's character. It would have been a better movie.
But
and it would be-
racism
but yeah,
in Hollywood.
yeah.
So
Oh my god.
That's why it took so long to get
This-
Black Panther, because they didn't think black people would go see a Black Panther movie.
Oh my god.
Right.
And when we showed out so hard, there was like, dang, maybe we should bank on black people. And then they started putting black people in everything, thinking it was gonna like be the magic ticket to make the next hit. No, it
Oh
wasn't.
man. Trip and stumble.
No. So guys,
Go ahead.
we dissected this movie. I have thoroughly ruined it for history because I gave background on the people, and I'm so happy that I did that. It's always fun to crush stuff in your friends. So now it's the time for
Don't
us to
forget to
start
donate
rating.
to fucking Sinbad on the journey.
Donate to
Please,
the journey
please.
forward. But now it's time for us to give out ratings for this movie. I don't know if Candy's familiar, but we have our patented historical voices rating system. We have 5 out of 5, which would be a winner. 4 out of 5, which would be something like an edge, which would be an edge. 3 out of 5, slumper. 2 out of 5, dumpster.
No,
1 out of 5,
no,
I
sleeper.
keep
Sleeper.
sleeper then dumpster. Whatever.
Yes.
Anyway, we all know what this movie is. So Candy, what's your
Sleep through a
rating?
dumpster fire.
Me personally, like I'm gonna have to go with the dumpster. But if I'm gonna go for a family flick, like something to entertain the kids, I could say it's what's the 3 again?
A slumper.
Slumper.
So you have to choose. What's your main one? What's your main one on this one? Is it
It's a
slumper
dumpster.
or?
It's a dumpster. It's a
Oh
dumpster. for me.
damn! All right, go ahead.
JC, go right ahead with your
It's a
rating.
slumper only because of Sinbad stuff. It's a sleeper 100. If Sinbad would have made 2 less jokes, this movie would have been a sleeper. 2 less. If he would have made 5 less jokes, it would have been a dumpster fire. But I legitimately laughed. Sinbad is hilarious, and it's worth watching it just for Sinbad.
Yes,
It was not
I
worth
agree.
watching it for any other reason.
Yes,
You know what?
I agree.
I think
It's not even worth it to sit back.
my vote kind of came with the kid though, because the kid was the biggest part of this movie that I didn't like, and I think that's why I rated it a little harsher. But
Nah,
I'm
dog.
sticking to what I
Hey, you
said,
said what you said. Don't
but
backtrack.
I said,
Double
yeah.
down, dog. Don't backtrack.
Don't change it. If you feel like it's a
We don't
sleeper,
like
then
that
it's a
wishy-washy
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, if you
said
feel like
what
it's a
you
dumpster,
said.
it's a dumpster. It's a dumpster.
And you know what? You
It's a
ain't
dumpster.
wrong.
It's a
In
dumpster.
many ways, it is true because it was a 5.1 on IMDb.
5.1. So that puts us in the middle.
Okay.
That puts
What
us in the
about
slumper
you?
on IMDb.
No. IMDb is not the same. No.
I know they're not the same, but IMDb is, if it's a 5, then that means that it like as a
Poor.
5,
That's
5
what
out
that
of 10.
means. It's a poor movie.
Yeah.
If
So
you
that
go on
means slumber.
IMDb and you look at people's ratings, it's either a 10 or it's a 2. They
Yeah.
don't have any gray, like there's no shades of variation in IMDb.
Damn,
It's
that's
just,
so
oh, I
bad.
love this movie. It's the best film ever. You gotta watch it. It's gonna change everybody's life. Or it's like, oh my god, it's the worst movie ever. Nobody likes this kid. Sinbad's not even that funny because he's black. You know, it's one of the two.
This is so hard. This
So
is so
it's either immediate fanboydom or overt racism. One of the two, y'all.
So history. What about you? What's your rating for this movie?
The movie that you wanted to see, the movie that you volunteered.
That you
The
suggested.
movie that you didn't want to
Your
watch
favorite
any other
movie.
movie on. The movie
Your favorite movie.
that month.
On one of my notes, I said that this will be my Friday after next for Jamel.
Why are you putting me
Right.
through your role, though? That's what I want to know. Why are you putting me through this? Why you wrote Can? I bet you that's why
It's coming
Tammy
up for
didn't
you
come on the
soon.
show because she watched the movie and she was like, "I've had enough of this. I don't need no more of this in my day." There's enough stuff going on right now, y'all. I can't go talk about this for more.
Duh.
I have a feeling Tammy would have burned this movie to the ground.
So history. What about
never
you?
know.
What say you, sir? What say you?
Oh man.
Does he
Quit
have a real
stalling,
come
bro.
Jesus
Quit
moment?
stalling.
The kid me would have said Edger, but I would say the adult me is Slumper because I did not like the kid. He drags the movie down for me. One of the things when I knew that I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely gonna be a Slumper is at the final scene when they did the fight for the gun. Did you see that dramatic slow motion for the grab? Instead of actually making the shot slow motion, you can tell that they told the dude, reach for it slowly.
We don't have the budget for a slow motion effect.
We don't have the right camera, guys. That cost $80,000.
And then they had
1996 money.
And then they had a scene where the dude, Wood's friend in the mall, which by the way, I don't understand how Woods
Dude in the wheelchair.
Yeah, I don't understand how they Woods did tell that Woods fucking
Wasn't that from Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan. You got no legs.
You got no legs. I don't understand how Sims didn't tell nobody in the Secret Service that he put a medallion on him, and then the IT guy, he fucked it up for me. He was like, "Oh, Sims, I forgot to give you this information." I was like, "Bro, he told you that this person is texting the kid." Like, this is information that should have been given more than half of the movie a way ago. So it just dragged it down for me. So I'm going to say Slumper. Slumper for me for sure.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Shit, I know he's going.
It's a dumpster. I'm also gonna make a suggestion. Sinbad, he doesn't have a month's worth of movies for us to go over. Movies that are
movies worth watching at least.
He has
his
1996. His 1996 is the opposite of Jim Carrey's 1994. He had Homeward Bound to Lost in San Francisco. He had First Kid. He had Jingle All the Way, which he's good in the movie, but the movie is a turd. And The Cherokee Kid, which Candy attests to, is not good. So I don't know if I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if I can make it through a month of bad Sinbad movies. I'm just being real. But we can discuss that off wax. First Kid, the kid is just, he ruins the movie because of how unlikable he is. Like, even if I appreciate Sinbad in the ad-libs, even if I appreciate Robert Goulet, aka Benson, for his presence, even with all that, the kid, and this is the crux of 90s movies that center on children. If the kid is good, you can have an enjoyable time, whether it's a family film, whether you're an adult. I can still watch Home Alone and get enjoyment. But when the kids are bad actors or the writing of a movie is terrible, you get something like First Kid. Not good. I will say this though, and we can go ahead and wrap and go on to the latter parts of the show. Shout out to kid's biology teacher. Whoever that actress is, God bless her.
Right.
God bless her. So
the only interesting part of the film.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to double check real fast. JT, you said that this was a what again?
This was a very low slumper. Very low slumper. This was 1/4 dumpster fire and 3/4 slumper.
Yeah, that's about exactly where I'm at.
5% brilliance of Sinbad, but
fire.
It is hanging on by a toenail's hangnail.
It is heavily being sedated while you're at your house after having a nice.
Mug just came
comatose.
It was like, what? Oh, okay, I guess you qualify as a slumper now. Dang, I took 2 less jokes, dog. I'm not BSing. 2 less jokes. My tolerance for the film would have been gone.
And the ultimate boss battle, the ultimate boss battle actually was not the final scene. It was actually between him and the ball python in the middle of the dining room. That was the ultimate.
I see when the kid did that mess and there was zero repercussions. His mom
Right?
was like, "I'm a working mother. That's what I am." But when he pulled his buns through the freaking room
There was
window or
nothing,
whatever, and
nothing at
his
all.
mom was just standing there like, "Oh no, there's cameras," and all the paparazzi is taking pictures of this kid's ass. This is how you. That was how you knew something was wrong with the filming. And this is not Sinbad's fault, y'all. This is
No, exactly.
whoever made the film. It's
The
them.
director who
It doesn't reflect on Sinbad, but
none of these films
the
reflect on
terrible,
Sinbad.
like,
That's a sad thing about it.
I mean,
if
the
it would have been a
Cherokee
Sinbad
Kid,
movie, it would have been a good movie. But Sinbad was co-starring with this other actor who was nowhere near as good as him. And I don't know what the director was thinking, giving that kid that much screen time. But Sinbad could have handled a lot of these situations, getting reprimanded for what he was doing versus actually showing the kid doing the stuff. There was ways to make it. So let's ask this question. Jamel, how do you fix this film?
You don't make the film. Anyway,
go back in time and smother the director in his sleep. Got it. History, how do you fix the film?
You can't.
The only way I just say change the cast, man. Make Sinbad the president and just have him be the one that's like chastising his kid the whole time. But Jamel, finish what you was gonna say, sir.
I was gonna say I'm still on Sinbad's filmography, and I ain't gonna hold you. It's shallow with what we can do. Like, unless we start cherry picking episodes of A Different World or watch that It's Always Sunny episode that he was on for a hot second, really the only other watchable movies that he's ever been in are Meteor Man and Good Burger. That's it. And he's not the focal character of either of those.
Well, with that,
yeah,
his filmography is AWOL. Is it okay?
His stand-up is funny. Yeah. That does it for First Kid. We have thoroughly dissected a movie that's not going to be forgotten, but should be. History, turn things back over to you. Take us on home.
For season two starting off really, really rough. We shot low so we can aim high at the end of the year. So
that's not how that works. Not how that works.
All right, with that, man. Candy, it was a pleasure for being on it. Candy is a part of the 2-Time Club.
It was a pleasure.
I wanted to give it a name, but I really realized that I got to workshop my name. But I was going to
better the 2-Time Club than the 2-Timers Club.
The double tappers.
But I was going to call them repeat offenders.
Shit!
We don't need that based on how we started the film or the show, y'all. Oh, we started this. Jamel yelling statutory.
Call us the DPs.
I appreciate this. I appreciate you being on the show again, man. I definitely do thoroughly appreciate you being on the show. It's always been a pleasure. Candy, thanks a lot, man. Jamel, JT the voice, thanks a lot for being on the show, man. I know that we can find you guys on Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern on YouTube as well as Facebook and Twitch. HVFE podcast. Make sure that you checked out the podcast wherever you get your audio acoustical pleasures from. We are on 9 different platforms at this point in time. So big shout outs to Anchor for putting us out there. And we got our first video out there as well for the the end of the year on Spotify. So big shout outs. Brava for us. This is season 2. With that, every week at the end of the show, we end this episode with the guidance from the voice, y'all. So with that, JT, what is the voice of reason this week, man?
Well, so a while ago, I talked to everybody about how to build community. You got to find common ground. You got to find a way to talk to people in a way that they can receive. And you got to care about folks and share your resources. I wanted to build on that a little bit more by teaching you how to be a good friend. The best way to be a good friend is to allow yourself to be in proximity of people without wanting things from them. If you're next to somebody and you find yourself continually wanting something from them, oh, I like their car, I want to ride in that mug. Oh, I like their computer, I want to go over there and play their games. Oh, I like that body, I want that on me. You cannot be a good friend to this person. So make sure that whatever you're doing is unbiased. You are not looking at it selfishly, and make sure that you're doing it out of love. When you want to be a good friend, all you have to do is look at the other person and say, I want what's best for you. Not what I want. I want what's best for you. So how can I help you get that? And that'll automatically make you a better friend and a more interesting and honest person.